Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Red Hot Racing League. Tonight, we are here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm joined by Word Burton and K Harvick fan 429 for what is going to be an exciting race and an exciting points race, as a lot of drivers are sitting along the cut. A lot of drivers are going to have in the back of their minds if they're going to be able to make it or not. So there's going to be a lot of tensions in this race, as it is our playoff cutoff, race 10 out of 16 of the season for the trucks, and we're about to reach our first playoffs, and Word Burton is going to read the starting lineup for tonight's cutoff race. Word?
Indeed. Well, thank you, Gap, as I've nominated myself tonight as the official starting linesman, I guess you can say, for the field tonight. And I'll tell you what, this is probably the most shaken up field I can recall in a while for the Truck Series. But thank you, Kevin. Yep, indeed, this is probably the most shaken up the field's been in a while, and in a pivotal race, might I add. Before I mention the starting lineup, I just want to point out a three-way tie coming into today in terms of the final transfer spot. However, after no M right tonight, right now your Graham's Taint and also Gamer is Blazing would technically be right on the cut to open up today's race inside the playoffs, but we'll have that story throughout the day. The starting lineup for tonight, Foreign Fuel will start on pole. He finished second last week. He currently sits fifth in the points, locked in. Fabico Gamer, another guy who's locked in. He's third in the points. He finished sixth last week. He'll start off P2. Your Graham's Tate, after a career-high finish at Talladega of eighth. He's also eighth in points mentioned coming today. He starts in P number 3. Mr. Track Bar, who has to be perfect tonight, he'll start P4 if he wants a chance to make the playoffs. Asylums will roll off P number 5. As we know, he's another one locked in. Air Just Cause, he will start in the 6th spot. Gamer is Blazing will start 7th. Graham Cracker, he'll start 8th. So we'll see him and Gamer definitely go at it. Another guy that's on the borderline, Material Zero. Let's see how a day he can have. He's in 9th. And also P10, another guy as well, borderline, is Yeti. In 11th will be T-Glass, 12th will be Lord Billis, 13th will be JGR Fan 9246. Haha Boog will roll off P14. P15 will be Young Rise. P16 will be OK Sideways. 17th will be Super NASCAR Fan, another borderline playoff guy. Bombin, I believe it's 284, will start in 18th. Idyllic Fungus will start in the P19 spot. Jay Royster, who didn't race last week, had a top 5 performance at Eldora. He'll start in the 20th spot. Horatio Kane will roll off P21, and rounding out the field is a hot seat. I believe this is his truck debut on the season of Brodozer 1588.
Yeah, what a time to make your truck debut in the last race before the playoffs, and especially at a track like Charlotte where Brodozer is pretty good. He's really good at these mile and a halves, and he really excels at them. And what a time for him to make his start with these truckers who have gotten used to each other, and now another driver gets thrown into the mix of Brodozer here, who honestly I wouldn't be surprised if we see him up in the front very quickly. Tonight, a little change of plans. 100% race tonight instead of, I believe we normally do 50. So it's going to be a little different. I believe everything else, though, remains the same. Normal draft, I would assume. So, yeah, we got a lot of guys really ready to get in to this race, especially me and our rest of the booth. We're really ready to get going here tonight, and it's going to be really nice to see who can come out on top and who's going to punch their tickets. We are going to try to keep you guys posted on the playoff situation and the battle point for points as the race continues. We have someone in here tonight, I believe it is Toasted Gamers. He's going to be basically the realistic in-race reporter and the most busy one of the season. He's going to be telling us what we have going on for the points battle as we start to wind down on this first RHRL regular season. I believe we're about to get it kicked off here. As soon as we get them into the lobby, we'll be rolling it, and can't wait to see what we got in store tonight.
Indeed, and I also want to add in as well. I don't know if it was mentioned, sir. I was trying to do some pre-race stuff as usual, but unlike usual, we are also doing 100% tonight. So these guys got a little bit extra mileage to go before the end of this regular season, usually 50%. I think we did Daytona at 100% as well. But other than that, this is going to be the longest race of the season, or at least it should end up being. So you have that to play in as well. That's going to mess up some strategy a little bit, maybe from what some other guys were planning on doing, but we'll highlight that more later on, Gavin.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really exciting to see. I'm just on the edge of my seat waiting to get into Charlotte Motor Speedway. Hopefully they get in here soon. I'm ready to get started. It's going to be a long one tonight, 100%. Double the length of usual. So that's going to throw in a kink. And we've also, from what I've been hearing, tires are going to be an issue for some guys. Maybe not all, but tires are going to definitely be on the radar of many, as for some odd reason, tires are being eaten away here at Charlotte. From what I've heard from a few drivers that I've been working with and a few drivers just in general that have extremely good experience, tires will definitely be on the radar of our drivers tonight, just as well as fuel and everything else you got to keep into account during your race. So we'll have to see how those things affect the drivers tonight, but should be getting rolling here shortly.
I think there's one story here that we have to talk about maybe a little bit more, and obviously there's a lot to cycle through here with the points. But I think the biggest one, the biggest feat that could or could not be accomplished tonight, and we talked about it last week quite a bit, and he cut a big chunk off. He did all he could last week from his point of view, and that's Mr. Trackbar, coming off a back-to-back win streak right now. Won at Eldora a couple weeks ago. He won at Talladega last week, swept both of those races. He is trying to overcome what is now a 42-point deficit coming into this race to sneak into that final playoff spot. He's kind of been gifted a couple things here. A couple guys that were around the bubble, they won't be here, but he still enters this race 42 points out. Those guys weren't really in a position to where it would help him. Also, can we join that, guys? Okay.
Alrighty.
We have 24? Anyways.
I believe someone's missing tonight, too. You might want to note that. I believe Emright won't be here tonight, as Emright didn't sign in time. He wasn't going to make it. He just didn't sign in since he wasn't going to make it. So now the two guys that'll be sitting in the playoff spots are Grams and Gamer. Graham will be one spot out, and it's going to be a really close battle. You got three guys tied for the cut line, and one of them's in. You got 80 Arco, who's going to start 4 points back. Material Zero, 8 points back. Super NASCAR fan, I believe, 17. And one of the most notable is Track Bar, which I believe you're going to get into, Kevin. He starts 42 points back, and he's got a lot to make up. He's got to be perfect, just like Tim said earlier while reading the lineups, and there's only one way to do that. That's win all the stages and win the race, ultimately. But there's going to be a lot of competitors ready to stop that, especially with a tank of a driver that he is. Not having him in the playoffs is something a lot of these guys are going to be cheering for, especially those who are right on the cut line. So we're going to have to see what happens with regards to that, as I believe, I don't know what that was.
Oh. Interesting. So we had a little bit interesting start there. That I don't think I've ever seen that happen. But what happened? We had a lag spike out of Haha Boog, and
of course,
somehow
fill in your bingo card, Tim.
it somehow brought out the caution. Whatever it may be, it seems like everybody's all right. Kind of unfortunate. I don't know that everybody was actually able to get into their starting spots or not, but either way, we are racing now in the final race of the RHRL Truck Series regular season. And again, there's a lot going on. Oh!
Horatio Kane, mark it off, Tim. He hit the wall on the outside hard, 90-degree angle straight towards the outside wall. That truck is going to have a lot to recover from. That's nasty. They're still green, but that's hard for Horatio there. He's suffering a lot of damage. Not something you want to see if you're Horatio this early.
It's not. So it's a 30-lap stage. I believe we will have one pit stop. I think the fuel number I heard, I think, was 14 laps. So Okay, I'm hearing 15. I'm going to say it's about 14 to 15. Point being, this is a 30 lap stage. A couple laps got cut off because of the caution there. So these guys are going to be good to go on fuel on one stop. They're going to pit one time. And by the way, we haven't had a ton of green flag pit stops during the Truck Series season because a lot of especially during the stages, are quite a bit shorter. Sometimes we'll get them during the third stage, but that's not even very often. So this is kind of a little bit uncharted territory. Definitely a little bit unfamiliar territory to some of these guys that we're going to be approaching here. We're throwing everything at these guys in the final race of the regular season, Gavin. We're making this difficult.
Yeah, it's curveball after curveball, but right now Track Bar doing what he needs to do. He's remained up front since the beginning of this race after Four and Fuel surrendered the lead early. Track Bar now has a sizable gap, I would say probably around 5 tenths, maybe to 7 tenths. And he right now controls the field. So he's going to do what he needs to do, and looks like he's going to be able to do that right now as he tries to continue to tick these laps down. Like you said, it's a long stage, 100% race. There's a long way to go and a short time to get there. I'm going to quote that one from eastbound and down. Mr. Track Bar, though, continuing to lead out here at Charlotte, one of my personal favorite tracks. I want to personally go see the race next year. We'll see if I can do that. Track Bar, though, looking to lead the field. The top 5 spread out pretty decently here. They got a lot of space in between them. But what do you do to stop a guy like Mr. Track Bar? I mean, he's just extremely fast. He's basically the king of the game. I mean, what do you do to slow a guy down or even catch a guy like this? I mean, he is just absolutely tearing it up every time he's on the track.
I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do. Obviously, maybe you could try to do something strategy-wise to maybe outrun him. Also, I apologize if you hear my dogs in the background. But, I mean, maybe try to do something strategy-wise to get him. Or maybe hope he speeds on pit road. I will say, one thing that does slightly concern me, and he's gotten better about it, especially more recently, but something that Track Bar, over the time I've watched him race, sometimes has a tendency to do is speed on pit road under green. If he does that tonight, I mean, I guess to quote this one, it could be the final nail in the coffin to his playoffs, because he's going to have to sweep this race to have a chance. That is the one thing he has to do. 42 points is a huge gap. I don't remember how many trucks started this race. I think it was somewhere around 20. What was that, Toasted?
I believe it was 24.
Okay, so 21. 21 trucks started this race. So when you factor this in, you look at this. He's 42 points out. 21st place without stage points or anything like that. It's, I think when I did the math earlier, it was 16 points. Meaning you take that off of 60, the maximum amount of points the Track Bar can gain on anyone in this race is 44 points. He only has 2 points that he can spare here. If there was a tiebreaker, more than likely he would get that based on the tiebreaker here tonight is highest finish throughout the entire regular season. Track Bar, of course, having multiple wins, would get that. So he theoretically has maybe 3 points to spare, but he doesn't want to be playing around with that. And again, he's going to have to sweep this. 42 points alone is hard enough to gain, but doesn't have a whole lot of wiggle room either. So he's doing everything he needs to right now.
Yeah. Sadly, Horatio's about to go a lap down, and Graham's lags out. That's going to really hurt his playoff hopes. Probably will end them.
That's them out the window, in fact.
Unless there's some sort of miracle, that's going to be all she wrote for Graham's. That's unfortunate for him. He's really worked hard and managed to get his first top 10 after having a really rough season last week at Talladega. And you hate to see it for a guy like him, a rookie to custom setups, and you know that just stinks overall to lag out on the cutoff race when you needed it. And that just hurts, man, to see. Track Bar still in the lead right now, but he's going a little bit slower. I wonder if he's putting it in save gear. I'm hearing the RPMs are a little bit low. He does have a fairly decent gap to second, so not really much to worry about if you're Mr. Track Bar right now, unless the forbidden C word happens and hit, that's a caution. You don't want to see that if you're the leader, as we got some cars driving down in the grass. I don't know what's happening down there, but Mr. Track Bar looking to tackle another lapped car right in front of him. I'll have to, looks like TBR Rise, another guy who
No, it's Young Rise
has had a struggle of a season. So hopefully he can find a way to turn it around here. Hopefully tonight, you know, it's these drivers, not only are they looking to make a playoff push, they're looking to make a good impression for next season. I mean, they really got to do what they got to do to make themselves look good for next season. They want to move up in the series. They want to move up in the ranks. So putting together good finishes is how you got to do it. And unfortunately, some guys are just going to have them rough patches, Kevin, as I believe Track Bar's taking it down pit road. He kind of missed it there. I don't know if that's going to affect anything. He really took that pit entry wide. I don't know how that's going to affect Mr. Track Bar there, but he might have missed it just a little bit. Might have sped, like you said earlier. But when you're so fast like Mr. Track Bar, it's got to be hard not to speed.
It is, but at the same time, you know, and look, and Track Bar's very much aware of his point situation. It is not something you can play around with. There is no room for error here. While Track Bar might be one of the best people in this game, best drivers in this game, there's nothing that's going to outweigh the fact that, again, 42 points in a race with only 21 participants in it is, I mean, again, he's got a 2-point buffer if he sweeps this race. If he doesn't sweep this race, his chances look very slim. He can't afford a mistake. I'm going to tell you right now, he didn't have a big enough lead to where he could get a speeding penalty and still come out in the lead. So, for his sake, I hope he didn't speed. I will have to find out here in a minute. But, tell you what, man, that's going to be probably his biggest worry tonight, is making any small mistake, because it could ruin those chances for him. But we have a lot else going on too. Again, we're talking a lot about Track Bar. Gavin, there's a whole lot of battle going on. Unfortunately, Grams, who was in a 3-way tie, it was part of that 3-way tie for the bubble there, the final 8 or the 8th spot there, ended up losing an engine, quote unquote, and his playoff hopes are gone out the window now, which is unfortunate for him. But there's still now a 2-way tie, and there's a lot of guys that are just outside the playoff cut as well, trying to get in. So there's a whole lot else going on besides, of course, the Track Bar situation. But again, I think that would probably be the biggest feat if he was able to achieve it.
Yeah. That is definitely something. That's definitely something to look at there, Kevin. One of the biggest competitors standing in Track Bar's way on the cut line lags out, and now he's got to worry about where does Gamer finish, where does Graham finish. Those are two other guys sitting right there tied, and proverbially they are in the lead now. They're in the cut line. They're above it. So now that Graham's is lagged out, unfortunately, I feel terrible. We gotta wonder who is gonna take that last spot. Now Track Bar only has to worry about 2 guys. That makes his life a little bit easier, but it's not easy at all because he's got to get 60 points. So these guys got to worry about where they finish. They got to manage, especially in a cutoff race, where their contenders finish and where, you know, other guys who are around them, like Eddie Arco, who is just 4 points out coming into this race, and other guys who are within 20 points. You got to wonder how they got to do. They got to figure out how their competitors are doing. Yeti and Super especially, they got to worry about them too. So, I mean, it's really a lot more than just strategy tonight. It's a lot about how are my competitors doing as well. You're racing not just the track, not just your tires. You're not, you know, just worrying about your strategy calls, Kevin, but you're also worrying about how are your competitors doing that are close to the cut line, and that matters just as much as finishing your own race and doing good. You know, I mean, it's just a lot of things to look into and a lot of things on these drivers' minds.
And by the way, again, Track Bar is actually currently not the leader. Somebody has decided to extend this run out, and they're currently extending themselves. We'll see. Oh, maybe it is. We'll get that.
I believe it's 4 and Fuel. I think 4 and Fuel is our leader, Kevin.
If that's the case,
I believe Track Bar sped. I think he sped.
Wow. Okay. Oh my gosh. Wow. I can't. I hope he doesn't rewatch this. He might yell at me because I jinxed him. So we have gotten confirmed, and we thought it might be Track Bar did indeed make that costly mistake of speeding. Asylums is now out front. He he actually extended that run as well. I didn't talk about it. I've been watching him the whole time. He actually went an extra lap than the rest of the field, or most of the rest of the field. He's the leader now. But track bar, we're hearing, and this is kind of unofficial, I think, but is probably around 7th or 8th place. Gavin, if he finishes here, I think that might be all she wrote for track bar's chances as well. Because if I look at my math again, he only had maybe at max 3 points to spare, and he had to sweep this race. It doesn't appear right now he's set up to do that. And in fact, it doesn't look like he will come home within the top 4.
Yeah, and especially if he doesn't come within the top 5 of any of these stages, he needs to be first or second. I mean, you can't afford to give up any points here if you're track bar, and with a speeding penalty, I figured he did something wrong there. I sat on his car just to make sure his truck, word toasted there.
Truck car?
I sat on his truck for a minute. I sat on his truck there for a minute in the pits, and I realized that it was there for a long, long time. And unfortunately, that's what came to mind. I didn't want to jump the gun and say, you know, track bar sped, and it not be right. But he did speed and finds himself in a deep hole, and he's going to have to find a way to dig himself out, which he is very capable of doing. But he's also got to worry about someone like Casey here, who is our current leader, who is especially good here at Charlotte. This is one of his best tracks, if you ask me, and he's good at all of them, of course. But Charlotte is a track that Casey does exceptionally well at, and for someone who races these trucks as much as Casey does, he knows how to wheel the truck here at Charlotte, Kevin, and he's going to be one of those guys that might be able to put the final nail in the coffin, to copy what you said earlier, in track bar's playoff hopes, and he might be able to do it as early as stage 1, which none of us expected. I know you didn't expect it, I didn't expect it either, but track bar's got to be living on a prayer right now in hopes that something can save him here, or if he can dig himself out, because it's going to be really, really close to that cut line now, especially that he finds himself farther back in the standings of this race.
Meanwhile, your leader, Asylums, who is, again, I believe trying to take back over the points lead. Trippy, if you haven't noticed, is not here. He's not home tonight. He was already locked into the playoffs coming in here. Actually, he was locked in last week, so he's doesn't have to worry, but I probably won't end up with the points lead. When this is all said and done, he's in the playoffs, but not here tonight, so this kind of opens up the door for Asylums here. He's trying to get this points lead. He takes the white flag in stage 1. We'll see. We'll get an official update, by the way. Toasted and Word are in here kind of helping out with points a little bit once the stages end. So we'll get an official update on where track bar is again, but if he doesn't finish, I think, in the top 3 in this stage, I think that's all she wrote for track bar. We'll have to see what happens, though. Maybe he can somehow claw his way back, Gavin.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough. Casey is going to win stage 1. Asylums gets it done in stage number 1. We're going to see if we can find... We're going to see if we can find track bar here and see what all cars finish in front of him.
We can now confirm.
That's tough right there.
Yeah. Okay.
It sounds like David just slain Goliath there. I mean, the man track bar tried to make a late playoff push. He finishes 5th in that stage. That's going to be all she wrote for him. And there's a couple guys, too, to note that I believe got some good stage points. Super NASCAR fan looks like he got some good stage points. And I believe... if I'm not mistaken, I believe Yeti also got some good stage points, if I'm right. Graham Cracker was also doing good early in this stage, so wouldn't be surprised if he came home with some points. Sadly, I can't tell you because all these different custom cars, it's hard to manage, and we got our in-race reporter extremely busy, but we're about to go green for stage 2 with Asylums on the pole, 4 and Fuel on second, so a lot of Fords up front, Kevin. 1, 2, 3 is all the blue oval. With Casey in the helm, he is leading here in stage 2. And we're back green flag racing here at Charlotte for stage number 2. Asylum's leading this race down into turn number 1. What do you think Asylums has to do to hold off the rest of these hungry competitors back here behind him, like 4 and Fuel, Track Bar? I believe Sideways is back there, Super NASCAR fan. All of these guys, especially the ones that are looking to make a playoff push What do you think he's got to do to hold off all these hungry competitors, Kevin?
Kind of what he's doing right now. Get a little bit of a jump on that restart, pull out by a couple truck lengths, and just kind of hold it down there on the bottom. This place isn't. It's not the trouble. A little bit of trouble for the 97. I believe we're gonna be all right though. But he sounds like lag shot a little bit or something there. But this isn't an easy track to pass at. This isn't somewhere where you can really go up into the middle of the high side and make a run, use some momentum. It's really a bottom feeder racetrack, similar to maybe what a Texas would be, or in some cases how Atlanta is. Maybe not. Actually, Atlanta's not quite as much of a bottom feeder track as it is here, but you get my point. The big deal here, though, is especially turns 3 and 4. There's a bump down here, and it's not as bad on the custom setups. It's more so effective on the presets, but it's a very tight corner, and there's a bump in the center of it where if you kind of hit it wrong, you get back in the gas too early, you can wind up washing up the racetrack. If there's trucks behind you, that will open up the door for guys to pass you on the bottom. As well as sometimes turn 4 here, you can get pretty loose off the corner. So there's those two factors. Turn 1 and 2 is pretty basic, pretty textbook set of corners there, but 3 and 4 is really kind of the big key to this racetrack. If you can get 3 and 4 down, you're going to have a good day. That's really also where you're going to see probably your passes get set up, unless somebody happens to overdrive turn 1 or something like that. But it's going to be kind of one of those races, Gavin, for passing where you have to get the guy in front of you up off the bottom somehow.
Yeah, and right now Asylum's not giving that bottom up. He kind of taps the wall a little bit there. That gives room for Track Bar to go down below and try to make a move now on T-Glass, who Asylum's error there is going to kind of mess up. And now Track Bar moves up into second. You know, Kevin, we might not be able to rule him out just yet. There is the possibility that other guys have issues, lag outs. There's always a possibility. Anything happens. And if Track Bar wins, he could possibly get the tie that he needs. And in the end, he can easily win that tiebreaker because he's won every single race he's been in. But right now, Asylums is still hanging on to this lead right now. And it looks like the front pack kind of breaking off a little bit. We got around 7 cars up here in this front pack, and the rest of the field is sitting around in the second pack. A lot of drivers need to find out what they can do to make their cars faster, especially those on the cutoff line. They're going to have to find a way to get up to Asylums here. It's going to be really tough. Track Bar, though, he gets a really big run there. He's going to take it to the inside of the 6. The 24 gets right to his quarter. New leader is going to be the 24 again. Rebounding from that early stage 1 predicament that he got himself into. Track Bar now leads here at Charlotte yet again. Asylum's running second. 4 and Fuel sits right there in third. I believe that's Boog in 4th, and 5th, I can't see it. I believe it's T-Glass. 5th is T-Glass. That's your top 5 running order currently, with T-Glass making a move for that 4th place spot on Boog there on the inside. Track Bar, though, still up front, leading here at Charlotte, Kevin.
And Aiden, how about Boog up here having a really solid day? He kind of has he's been one this season that I would say has been kind of inconsistent. There's some races he'll have really good runs, and there's some races where you won't really see a whole lot of him. This seems to be one of the ones where it's better for him. We're inside the top 5 right now after having some trouble very, very early in this race, but he's gotten it back together and he's doing good. But as far as Track Bar goes, I like your optimism earlier, and I think we're getting the official update after stage 1 on points as we speak. Those are being tallied up and written down, so we'll have that for you shortly. But based on the math that I did before the race, if he finished 5th in stage 1, which is what we were hearing, again, he only had 3 points to spare. He was going to have to sweep this race ideally. At worst, he could finish 3rd in that stage and then sweep the other 2 stages. He did not achieve that goal. You also add in the fact as well that even if somebody else were to have a problem, Grams has already lagged out or disconnected. So that also, kind of helps those. If somebody else were to have a problem, the worst they could now finish would be 20th. So you factor that in as well. That's kind of an extra point. It kind of closes that gap even more. I tell you what, and I guarantee you, by the way, Track Bar is probably not aware of this situation. The drivers aren't getting the points update unless they're watching the stream themselves. But okay, maybe he is. So Oh, okay. So so drivers actually are getting the points updates. My bad. I wasn't aware of that. But so track bar is aware of this, but at the end of the day, track bar does come out here to win these things. And again, maybe there's a miracle that happens, but based on the math that I did coming in here, he is locked out at this point. Gavin.
And it looks like right now we have got our points update. We're going to start with what Toasted you gave us here. 6th, plus 32, that's Alex, there just cuz. 7th, Emright, still sitting plus 7 grams, or Graham Cracker, apologies. He sits plus 5. Grams is minus 5. Gamers minus 5. ADR Co is minus 9. Material minus 13. Super minus 15. Madara Init, otherwise known as Yeti, is minus 24. Track Bar minus 41. And Billis minus 58. Virtually has no chance at this point, as Asylums is going to be the first one to duck it down into pit road. He is going to go ahead and take some new tires, freshen up a little bit.
Indeed, interesting here.
Short pit action.
He's not usually one to try this, Gavin. We both know this. We've seen him do it plenty of times, and we even saw it in stage 1. He's usually the guy that will run this thing a lap or two longer than everybody else. Trying something a little bit different this time, and again, he has nothing to worry about. He's got a couple wins on the season. He's well locked into the playoffs. Picked up the stage win back at stage 1. He's got nothing to worry about, so he can maybe try some things a little bit headed in to close out this race. Again, it's a long way to go still. I think we're just under 100 to go, probably about 85, 90 to go. So, in the race itself, we'll have to see how this works. I'm actually very interested to see what this does for him, if he can maybe jump back ahead of Track Bar, or if Track Bar will be able to hold on.
Yeah, Track Bar's going to have a lot. Track Bar's going to have a lot to worry about here, as Asylums is already in turn 3 and 4, and Track Bar just made it to his pit stall, so there's going to be a lot to worry about there, as Asylums' undercut might work out really well for him and make Track Bar a little bit harder there to deal with, as Asylums gets wicked loose off of turn 4 on his out lap. Those tires are still cold. Got to get the things gripping up here, especially as it looks like we might see these guys side by side on the backstretch. Track Bar now just merging up, and it looks like Asylums is just going to get by him. They make a little bit of contact there. Maybe Track Bar thought he was clear. He wasn't. They make a little bit of contact, but Asylums now is the leader. Track Bar running right behind him. The undercut works, but will that one extra lap on the tires of the 6, will that hurt him more than this undercut helped him? Kevin?
We'll see. Again, we saw the big moment for Asylums off turn 4 there, coming out of the pits. He kept going, and that's kind of a product of tires being a little bit cold, pressures having to build up a little bit with the heat, all that type of thing. But tell you what, it did seem to work for him. He got back ahead of Track Bar, which I think was his ultimate goal. Now, whether he holds on to this or not, I don't know. As far as tire difference, once Track Bar came out, Asylums only had a lap on his tires. I don't see tire wear wise that playing a huge factor. I know this place has been pretty harsh on the tires from the race today and from practices some guys were doing, but I don't know that the 1 lap difference will be enough for Track Bar to kind of pull it back ahead of him, at least based on tires later in this run. Now, speed wise, we'll have to wait and see. This is kind of, I will say, this is maybe a little bit new for Track Bar. A lot of the truck races he's done this season, besides Talladega, which is kind of its own animal, and even Talladega he kind of dominated. Track Bar's dominated a lot of these. It hasn't been the case tonight. He struggled in stage 1, and Asylums is very much right around him today. So.
Yeah, but Asylums is hanging off just a little bit. He's starting to lose a lot of ground to Track Bar there. I believe the tires are playing a little bit of a factor as Track Bar is able to drive it in just a tad bit deeper than Asylum, so really rough way to go out for Asylums, but when it comes to it, you got to try something, especially when the guy up in front of you is the best to ever do it in this game. So props to Asylums for trying it. We'll see if he can rebound and pull back up to the leader, but the leader definitely has a sizable gap to second, and second has even a bigger gap to third, which looks like it's Boog in third, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's Foreign Fuel. Maybe I'm incorrect.
Oh no!
It looks like Foreign Fuel.
I want to point out this is a little bit of bit of a teaser for everyone. It's a little bit concerning. If he happens to get interviewed, let's just say it's going to be an interesting interview. We'll leave it at that. We'll see if we get that far or not. But if he gets interviewed, it's you thought some of the ones we did last weekend, like with Trippy, were interesting. If Boog here gets interviewed, it's going to be a whole other level of weird.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It can only Boog is his own animal, I guess you could say.
Well, and he has those other
in many
tools.
ways than one.
He has those other tools as well, Gavin. You can't forget about. He's been showing off all week.
Yeah, Boog has been very interesting this week as he's found some new toys to play with that are very interesting to say the least. Track bar, though, we're going to go back to the race. Track bar continues to run up in the front. I mean, he's just, I just don't know if it ever gets boring for Track bar to have such a lead all the time. I mean, this guy just comes out and runs like a rocket. Like, this guy is so fast everywhere he goes, and you wonder, does it ever get boring for him? I mean, he is just extremely quick, and he's showing it right now. He's got about a turn on Asylums there, so he's got a fairly decent lead, and all the way back to third, he's got about half a straightaway, so even bigger lead to third. So Track bar really needs to ace it here in stage 2, and he definitely needs to ace it in stage 3 as we wind down the stage. 5 laps remaining. Coming to 4 this time by Track bar will continue to lead here in stage 2, and you know, Kevin, I think he might have hurt us up here in the booth. He manages to not speed there early, and that's going to really help him in the long run, as we saw what speeding did to him earlier, as he wasn't in the lead, but now he is stayed up front for the most of the stage, and he might come home with the stage win, and he's going to really need all the points he can get as we come now 4 to go, heading to 3 to go, Kevin.
And again, obviously Track bar did everything right this time around, but again, that's gotta hurt knowing that it was no one else's fault from what I could tell. Track bar just overshot the pits. He overestimated his speed and sped. That's a driver error. That's on him, and that stinks. That stings as a driver when you're in the point situation that he was in. But you know what? Track bar's got a really good head on him, and at the end of the day, look. He might be locked out of the playoffs. I promise you, he's still going to go out here and try to dominate this race. If anything, that probably lit a fire and added a little bit more motivation to him going to go try to win this race now. He has nothing to lose. So, you put all that into perspective, and he starts to distance himself as we've hit 2 laps to go now. So, again, I gotta say, it's been an interesting race so far as strategy. Maybe haven't seen a ton of battles, but the strategy's been a little bit interesting.
Yes, it has. It hasn't been too interesting for the battle for the lead. I mean, Track bar or Casey's really been your only two. As Track bar's going to take it off turn 4, he sees the flagman waving the white flag as he laps another car. I believe it is Yeti getting put down a lap there, and that's not what you want to see if you're Yeti, who is
one of the
fighting
drivers
for this last playoff spots. Yeah. He is definitely not going to want to see that. The Track bar's got a pretty good lead right now on the rest of the field. Right now, he can put it in cruise control as far as I'm concerned, Kevin, and still win the stage. So Track bar comes out here and performs the strategy he needs to rebound from that tough stage 1. And out of turn 4, Track bar in the Hedrick Cars 24 Chevrolet Silverado will win stage number 2. Boog runs out of gas.
Oh, Boog! He ran out of fuel.
Oh, man. Boog's going to have to throw it in the pits. He's going to throw it down pit road, Kevin. No, he's not. He's going to miss it, but he's in the middle of the track. Get out of the way, Boog. Oh, man, that is just unfortunate. No stage points for the 51, who was running 5th, Kevin, at the time. Runs out of fuel off of 4, and Charlotte can do that to you. We know in real life NASCAR, we've seen fuel mileage play a factor here, and it does for Boog. Poor guy. Boog is definitely not going to be happy about the way that went. As I believe he's running his patriotic Little Tykes cruiser here today.
Yeah, we haven't talked about it. I've kind of talked about it, before, but obviously, 4th of July being next weekend, of course, Charlotte it all kind of fits together. We won't be racing next weekend, at least not any points races. I think there's still something maybe up for discussion as far as maybe a special event, but that more details may or may not be coming out next week, depending on what we decide. But no points race next week as we're back to green for Stage 3. So we figured patriotic race. Why not? Let's do it at Charlotte. Makes sense, and it's also a good time to do it. So
I believe we just got a reference here as Stage 3 begins. Another driver is lagged out, so that makes the life of the cutoff drivers a little bit easier now. Track Bar winning Stage 2, but with another driver lagging out, that just makes Track Bar's life harder, and the cutoff guys are going to be smiling at that, whether they know it or not. Track Bar, though, up in the lead right now. Asylum's looking to challenge for it. He gets right to his bumper, and he's actually
maybe a little bit of contact.
I
don't know if that was them or not. But
3 cars shoving it through. Graham Cracker, Asylums are both nose to tail shoving the 24 of Track Bar now as they go down to the back straightaway. Track Bar's going to break that draft. Asylums is going to get it and use it. And now looking to the inside with T-Glass's help. He's not going to get it. Track Bar's going to shut the door on him. Here they go out of turn number 4. Track Bar still in the lead, but he hasn't lost Asylums yet. He's trying to shake and bake him right off of his tail, but it's not going to work just yet as Track Bar still getting chased by the guys in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. That is Asylums. That is T-Glass, I believe, in 4th, if I can see it here. Looks to be Graham Cracker, if I'm not mistaken. Running right there. Track Bar's going to give up the lead.
Oh, what happened? The
Asylums moves up to the lead.
See, we'll see if now as well if Track Bar can get back down or not, or if these other guys kind of come through with Asylums and kind of drop Track Bar even further back in the running order. But how about Graham Cracker up here? He's one of those guys again that was tied. Actually came in here tied for the bubble spot. He's gotten really good stage points. Again, with Boog having his issues, that might actually, and we'll get that update, might actually make points a little bit more interesting and something else we wouldn't have expected. But okay, never mind. Oh, sorry, my bad. But either way, Graham needed a really good points today, and guess what, Gavin? He's doing just that, and I'm not surprised. He's shown he's pretty good at these mile-and-a-half racetracks like Charlotte. Of course, picked up, and Atlanta's its own beast, but he picked up his first ever RHRL win, first custom setup win at Atlanta in the Xfinity Series earlier this season, so he knows what he's doing, and he's shown a lot of speed in the trucks, and again, I'm not surprised to see him up here running well at Charlotte tonight, and exactly the right time to do that as well.
Looks like a couple of cars are going to get together there, and that might even hurt Brodozer, who has some front right damage there. I saw it out of the corner of my eye. The 20 is getting wrecked, unfortunately, and it looks like in the dog leg, I believe Track Bar went right in between the Graham Cracker machine, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was T-Glass on the high side there. The Track Bar went in between them, and they just started ping-ponging, and you know how that goes, Kevin. It's just, unfortunately, death. That's the only way you can put it. Death is the only thing that comes out of the ping pong, and unfortunately that's going to cause a lot of guys to shake up back there, and now there's a gap, and Track Bar manages to make his way back up into 2nd, looking on the leader of Asylums, who has been looking really strong tonight, and these 2 guys up here, I wouldn't be surprised if this is your battle for the win tonight, Kevin.
Indeed, and speaking of that, we're going to drop some sponsor things in here probably pretty close together here in a minute, but Gavin, we've been doing this in the other series, and I want to continue that here. Obviously, we're missing Abyss tonight. We'll talk maybe more about that later. I can just tell you he had something come up today and was not able to make it tonight, unfortunately. But still me and you. And we just say we do a little bit of Circle B Diecast ones to watch here. I'll let you kick this one off, Gavin.
I think there's a lot of guys to choose from. I mean, anyone in this field that's running top 5 right now is a guy that you can look at. Also want to say shout out to Fabico Gamer running 4th. That's pretty sick. He's in the top 5 right now. But I think I'm going to go with Asylums here, who has been leading and he's won a stage. I think he is one of the two guys you got to pick. I think there's two obvious ones, and he's definitely one of them. So my pick is going to be Asylums here for the night.
Well, now I'm kind of sad because you took my pick, and I don't want to be the guy that picks.
Hey, we can double down.
Picks. I mean, I don't want to do that though. That's not fun. I want to compete as well. We'll compete this way. So I was gonna take Asylums, but you know what? Since he did it, I'm gonna take Mr. Track Bar. I think he's got a little bit of a vengeance now. He knows he can't make the playoffs. He's got nothing better to do now but to go out here and try to win this race. He showed he had a ton of speed in Stage 2. He was doing very well in Stage 1 until he made a mistake. I think Mr. Track Bar is going to pick up the win at the end of the night, Kevin.
Yeah, and you know, just to add in, you can't forget about T-Glass, who has ran top 3 all race long and who's now brought his way back up to the bumper of Mr. Track Bar and Asylums there. So you can't forget about T-Glass. And I think next season, Kevin, we need to keep our record here of who is right and who is wrong.
I'm down with that.
We need to have a little competition next season between me, you, and Abyss. I think that's something we might add in the future to spice it up a little bit. Asylums, though.
Up in the booth.
Yeah, I mean, you can't escape competition anywhere. So right now we got a live points update.
Circle
we'll see
points update.
What Toasted's got for us. Let me get in there and take a peek. Right now, running 6th, Alex is 31 to the good. Graham Cracker is 7 to the good. Emright is still +5. Gamer -5. Grams is -7, sitting 10th. ADR Co, who didn't make it today, -11. Super NASCAR Fan -13. Material Zero -15, and Yeti -26. Mr. Track Bar -33, and Billis, I hate to say it, you're out, -60. So unfortunately, Billis doesn't have a shot in the dark at this one, which stinks to be Billis, but sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Indeed, and now I think if you look at these, I think really your battles would be obviously, I'm sorry, I forgot who you said was 7 up right there, but, and then
Graham Cracker.
Okay,
Graham Cracker's
Cracker.
+7. Emright, who's not here, is +5, so that's subject to change as well.
Indeed, yeah, that's
you got
gonna change.
Gamer -5, Graham's -7, who lagged out. And that's an 8-point difference right there, Gamer versus Super.
Cracker.
So Graham Cracker, I believe, will be good.
But if you, either way, so we probably have 2 to 3 trucks kind of in the fray now. Again, this is kind of dwindled down over the course of the race. 2 spots available right now, Graham Cracker and presumably Gamer will take that other one. Again, Emright was not here. He's still in based on points because obviously the way the stages are, we're just going off stage points. Once we factor in the race points overall, he will, dare I say, drop like a rock through the point standings. Yes, I went there.
Mark it off, Tim.
So, meanwhile, pit road is getting busy.
Wow, we still got a lot of racing left. Lap 79 out of what? What did you say, Toasted? 174?
Got a long way to
134?
go.
Goodness gracious, we got a long way to go.
55 to go, I think. Or 65,
That's a
hold on.
decent amount of time left.
No, it's 55.
You know, the chat's looking a little dead. I want to ask the chat, who do you guys think is going to win tonight's race? You got some heavy hitters like Mr. Track Bar and Asylums, but you also got some dark horses. Fabico Gamer's been looking strong in Stage 3. I mean, look at him. He's about to beat Asylums out on pit road. You also got to look at guys like Foreign Fuel, who ran up front early in this race, and you got to look at guys like, I believe, T-Glass, who was running top 3 all race long. So I believe you got to look at those, but I just want to see who the chat thinks is going to win. Toasted puts an absurd comment. He said the pace truck. That's absurd. No way the pace truck
We don't have a
wins
pace
this
truck,
race, Toasted.
so it can't win.
And there, no pace truck, Toasted. We couldn't even afford it this week.
Oh, by the way, hang on. Actually, I do want to. We updated some things. Speaking of which, that actually does remind me of something. Since Toasted's always the one that asks about this. We also did add some things to the chat this week as well. If you go take a look at the miles, depending on how many you have, there's some new stuff there. There's some new emotes as well that are pretty funny. So Dustin's very happy in the party right now because I think he just saw it. But so we did add those things, and we hope to add more of that type of stuff. We want to get you guys involved as much as we can, obviously. Have some fun with it. So we'll see. I'm really hoping Toasted doesn't have enough points to redeem this. I'm really hoping. But just wanted to kind of give that update.
Yeah, go check your miles. You might even get Kevin to say, hey.
Oh, boy.
Track Bar, though, presumably still in the lead right now. I'm going to read some of our comments. Rock NASCAR agrees with Kevin. He says, got to go with Track Bar. I believe Track Bar is definitely in the position to win this race. He's really good here, has a really strong car, and I was one of my two that I figured would be the popular picks for tonight. Grams, who lagged out earlier, says, got to go with Fabico. He's going with the dark horse tonight. We're going to have to see who wins this race, and Toasted also says the dark horse of Fabico is going to have a big shot at winning, and honestly I would love to see an underdog win tonight. It'd be really, really cool to see a first-time winner. But right now, Track Bar looking to triple down. Last 2 weeks he's won both races and swept them. He won't get the race sweep tonight even if he does win, but he's definitely in the position to win this race. So we'll have to see if Track Bar has what it takes. But your top four right now, because those are the only four I can see in the screen, are Track Bar in the lead. Second is Asylums. Third, T-Glass. And fourth, Fabico Gamer, repping some Brazilian colors there. Fabico Gamer from Brazil. I mean, that's pretty cool to see. We got a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different drivers coming from all around the world to race custom setups here. So it's pretty cool to see that everyone can share the love of racing. I really do enjoy seeing that, and especially when Fabico is up front, I love to cheer him on. He's an amazing guy behind the wheel and behind the scenes as well.
And
just a cool kid.
One of the most
hang
respectable.
around him, he's awesome. Absolutely.
And by the way,
Track Bar's still up in the lead, Kevin.
yeah, he's kind of chilling up there. I will say, if Track Bar wins this race, obviously, and I'm not factoring the Cup race into this because it's a different series, but out of all the truck races Track Bar has started, he has swept all of them. Even if he wins tonight, this will be the first truck race that Track Bar has ran where he doesn't sweep all 3 stages. So that in itself is still an impressive stat. But again, he's trying to complete this and try to get this win. But I also want to again point out as well, we still have all these points battles going on, and obviously it'll be a little bit harder to track for a little while with no more stage breaks and that type of thing. We will have definitely, I would say, probably 2 more pit stops in this race. I think most people pitted with about lap 79, lap 80, so looking about 55 to go. Take another 15 off of that, you're looking probably 40 laps to go or so. Probably looking about 40 laps to go when they make their next stop, and you go from there. Actually, it might be a 3-stopper. There could be some fuel saving coming into this. I'll do a little bit more math when we get down a little bit closer towards the end of this thing, cut off more pit stops. But 47 laps to go. If my math is correct, we're about 7 laps away from our next round of pit stops. And you know what, Gavin? What do you say we give Tim, and we'll explain this joke when we come back, but what do you say we give Tim another check off his bingo board and do a little bit of Circle B Dackass, crank it up?
I think it is the perfect time to crank it up. Let's do it.
We're back because I see cars on pit roads. Interesting. All right, at least
Yeah,
I
not
think I
much
saw
to hear
something.
when they're on pit road, Kevin.
I know, that's why I came back.
I have noticed once Track Bar lost that lead there, you see how he's kind of tucking behind Casey and they're kind of running in a line. I believe there's some fuel saving going on, so your speculations earlier might be right, as I believe that whole top four might be doing it. So we'll have to see how that plays out, but Track Bar definitely is going to be able to go the extra mile, if not multiple miles, as he is saving for what I believe has been the last 5 or so laps he's been saving. So he's got a lot of laps logged in that fuel gear, and Asylum's right now, I can't tell if he's saving or not. 42 laps to go when they cross the start-finish line, and the top four have been sticking together for a while now, Kevin. I mean, these four haven't broken up yet, and they continue to just ride in the line, so it only makes me think that these guys are saving fuel and helping each other out as Casey's going to duck it down. T-Glass also going to duck it down. I believe Fabico might be good. We'll see where Track Bar is. As Asylums is side by side with Track Bar, he won't be able to pit this lap. So Fabico and Track Bar are going to be able to stretch it maybe a lap or two. We'll have to see once they get back around. But, you know, these two guys are really doing what they got to do to stretch it, and I think Fabico sees what Track Bar is doing. He's getting that extra lap of tires, and it's really playing for him, and we'll have to see if that can help push Fabico up into the top three and push Track Bar even more as Track Bar is slowing down. He's going to come down into pit road. Fabico sending it in hot there. He's going to gain some time back on Track Bar with a good pit entry as long as he doesn't speed. We'll have to see what happens there. Track Bar's going to baby it in there, Kevin. I know he's got to be thinking about his, he's definitely going to be thinking about his speeding penalty earlier, and definitely is going to play it safe, as the only way he has of making the playoffs, Kevin, could be a win. And we don't know until it's over. We kind of know, but we don't know for sure if Track Bar is out. We think he is, but anything is possible here in the great sport of racing. So you can't bank on anything, especially when it comes to motorsports.
Oh, indeed. Sorry, I'm trying to fix something. But no, again, and the strategy here as well. I want to keep in mind the point as well, and we'll get there in a little while. Again, once we cut off a couple more pit stops. But I am under the belief that I think fuel saving as well will come into play here. And by the way, Haha Boog, who ironically enough is the one guy who ran out of fuel at the end of stage 2, we're hearing could potentially be the leader at the moment, Gavin.
Yeah, that's something to see there. We'll get to Haha Boog and see if we can confirm or deny that. Trying to find him. I can't find him. Where's he at? Boog, where are you? There he is. Haha Boog. All right, we're getting mixed reviews. T-Glass just crossed the line there. We're hearing that he's the leader, and if it's T-Glass, he is now coming down into turn 1 and 2. T-Glass has a little bit of damage on that nose. Don't know where he picked that up, but that's definitely going to play a factor if he hasn't gotten it fixed. It's going to tighten the car up just enough to where that front right might burn just a tad bit more than you want it to. And man, that car looks really beautiful in those red, white, and blue colors, Kevin. You gotta love the support for the country. It's just amazing what we're seeing here tonight with all these beautiful red, white, and blue schemes. Just amazing to see all of these schemes out on the track.
Indeed, and again, I love the involvement that we get out of these drivers when we do these special races. We saw the amount of involvement we had at Atlanta for Throwback Weekend, probably about a month and a half or so ago now. And again, these guys never disappoint. They show up again and droves with these patriotic red, white, and blue trucks and some other themes as well. It's awesome to see. I love the support for the country. Again, I'm a very patriotic person, so personally, I love seeing this. And of course, again, Independence Day coming up next weekend. It's gonna be. I like seeing these, and we're only going to get to see more of these throughout the rest of the weekend. Of course, the Xfinity Series race tomorrow night, and of course the longest race of the Cup season on Sunday. So we get to see these red, white, and blue cars throughout the rest of the weekend. We got some trucks out here tonight. I love seeing these, and I love that we have such an involved and such a willing group of drivers throughout this entire Red Hot Racing League that are creative enough and enjoy doing these special paint schemes for when we have these races, and it's a special occasion too. Again, these don't come up very often, so it's fun to see it when they do come up. We get so much participation. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool to see these guys bringing out the American spirit and for patriotism for their country. Like I said before, Fabico showing his patriotism for Brazil, where he is from, and it is super cool to see these guys love their country as much as they do. It's just so awesome to see. Sideways with the Canadian car. I didn't see his. We'll see. We'll get on to his right here. Try to get a good look at it while we can. The camera angles are not being nice to us, Kevin, but there's Sideways his Canadian car. Very beautiful Canadian car, our northern neighbors. Pretty cool to see as well. See if we can get back up to our leaders, or presumably our leaders, which should be Mr. Track Bar if I'm not mistaken. So Mr. Track Bar right now running up in front. Kevin, your pick's looking really good right now, but mine's not too far behind in second. He's still got the draft, and he's really hanging on and trying to see if he can get up there to the leader of Mr. Track Bar. So you can't count out that 6.
No, definitely not. And again, we've seen as well, we have at least one, maybe 2 more, actually probably 2 more pit stops left, or potentially depending on fuel saving. But we can't factor that out either. There's 26 in, but the fact of the matter is, these pit stops, again, they have the potential to shake this race up quite a bit. We saw what happened in stage 1. Guess what? That can still happen.
Yes, it can, as Track Bar continues to lead up there. I believe Brodozer just went a lap down, unfortunately. That's going to sting a little bit in his first truck race of the season, his first hot seat. But the 6, man, he's just hanging on right there. He's still in the draft of our leader, Mr. Track Bar, and he is hanging on. Fabico, I believe, is in 3rd right now, so that's also something to look forward to, as he is running really close to these leaders as well. He hasn't fallen off the pack yet. Fabico Gamer is really putting on a show tonight, and personally, I didn't think he was extremely good at Charlotte, but he's proven me that he is extremely good here. And typically I thought Fabico was more of a road course and plate guy, but man, he is doing really good here tonight, as he has all season long, and I can't wait to see the future for this guy. He's really got a bright one ahead of him, especially in custom setups, man. He was kind of weary when he first started custom setup racing. He's like, I don't know if I want to do it, but you see he stuck with it, Kevin, and now he's just putting on a show and doing amazing here in the Truck Series, and I can't wait to see what he's got in store. For Fabico Gamer just running 3rd right now, and he's got the leaders right in his sights.
Indeed, and again, I think the one thing that kind of stood out really for me with Fabico, and I kind of had the same feeling as you did. I thought he was more, I knew he was really good at road courses. I knew he was really good on the super speedways, but I think really where he showed up to me was at Atlanta earlier this season. He was running very, very well at Atlanta earlier this season, and the series that he raced in. Martinsville did the same thing, so he's made huge strides throughout the entire season, and I'm glad to see it. But Gavin, meanwhile, we have playoff contenders again. Sorry if you hear my dog, by the way, but the playoff contenders start to hit pit road. Graham Cracker in, as well as Material Zero, and many more.
Yeah, a lot of guys are takers, and we're going to see if this big undercut can help them or not, because I believe Asylums has also come down pit road. We'll be able to confirm that here in a second.
He is in.
Yep, Asylums is in pit road. We did see that lap car kind of got in his way a little bit there. That's going to lose him some time. Not what you want to see if you're chasing down the leaders, as a lap car playing a factor against you, but that's what's going to happen sometimes at Charlotte. It's a little bit of a tighter track. It's not super wide, definitely not wide enough for 3 wide in these corners, But, I mean, you know, sometimes you just got to make do with what you got, and Asylum's bringing it down pit road. See if he can have a good enough stop to put him ahead of Mr. Track Bar. I see Super NASCAR Fan coming down. Air Just Cuz also coming down pit road. My fault, Super NASCAR Fan didn't come down pit road. I believe he might be exiting. But we'll have to see. Trying to get back to Track Bar, who's just now making his pit stop, and Fabico's going to follow in suit. So Fabico definitely is on the same strategy as our race leader currently. So that's definitely a good thing for him to do. He sees Track Bar's leading off this. Maybe I can get something out of it. So Fabico Gamer definitely on what could be the winning strategy for him as long as those tires can hold up. Track Bar is going to come out of pit road. Asylum's got to get here. We'll see with this cut here if undercut is going to work for Asylums. It did the last couple of times, but if that lap car played enough of a factor, Kevin. If that lap car played enough of a factor, Kevin, which it looks like it did, Asylums might have even lost time. It looks like Asylums is going to be on one lap older tires, and he lost time to the leaders. It's not something you're going to want to see being Asylums, and that might just make him even more furious with the, I believe it's the 13 of Bauman there, who was the perpetrator lap car that held him up a little bit there to his pit entry. Fabico Gamers is in third. We're going to have to see if Fabico's got what it takes to catch up, riding along with Horatio Kane, who is running a Dale Earnhardt scheme tonight. You know, a big Dale Earnhardt fan Horatio is. And with Ralph on the pit box, that's the perfect combination as he's going to come down the pits. We're going to see, we're on board with Gamer. I don't know where Gamer is, but he is definitely on the cut right now. He's got to perform to make it into the playoffs. One of the guys tied on the bubble coming into this race. He's fallen below. He fell below, which he's got to do something to push his lead even taller, because right now it's him versus Super NASCAR Fan and the other guys that are right around that cut, Kevin. So a lot of guys looking to make their way in to this playoff, and it's just coming down to the wire. I believe we're under 30 laps remaining in this contest.
Gavin, we just had a development. Okay, so let's get this up to speed. Hopefully you can find them and maybe see if either of them have any damage, but sounds like the 24 Mr. Track Bar, who again has fallen out of contention for the playoffs, and I don't know the circumstances, I didn't see it happen, but sounds like he got into the back of the 68 of Graham Cracker, one of the guys that's again racing for this one of these last two playoff spots. He's right there on the bubble, right there. You know, if something happens to him, he could easily fall out of this. So obviously, if you're maybe somebody outside looking in, you're hoping you got quite a bit of damage, and maybe would have to pit to fix it or something, but we'll see what happens here. But Graham Cracker and Track Bar got into each other a little bit. That could definitely spell bad news, especially for Graham Cracker, depending on how severe the damage that he may have received is.
Yeah, absolutely. That damage could play a factor if he has it. It just depends on how hard did those bumpers collide. But it looks like on my screen, Track Bar's got a pretty clean nose on him. Not enough to sway the car one way or the other as he puts T-Glass a lap down. T-Glass, man, running top 5. I might have jinxed him saying that he was having such a good night. He just went a lap down, and unfortunately, you hate to see it for T-Glass, but you got to think T-Glass is running up high, so maybe Track Bar's lapped a lot of cars. Oh my goodness, yeah. T-Glass lagging a little bit there, you can see him. This is not a good situation, T-Glass. Please don't lag into our leader. Oh my goodness, they're so close together.
Yeah.
Track Bar, you better get on your horse and run away from T-Glass. He is lagging behind you.
We've seen
to get away.
We've seen this before with T-Glass. I don't know what it is. He has some sort of, when he lags, it's just it's a whole other level of interesting, I think is the best way to put it. You go back to Dover and the Cup Series, he literally lagged over the pit wall, then lagged back out into the turn 1 grass, and then lagged around to the back straightaway, and then he stopped lagging. So funny, I guess when T-Glass lags, his internet makes sure that it's known that it's having trouble. That's my only explanation for that.
Oh my goodness, yeah. It looks like it's starting to fizzle out now. It's not being like it was before. Track Bar still in the lead. He's got clear skies in front of him right now. Next car ahead of him is just now entering turn 3, so Track Bar's got a lot of space between him and the next lap cars, guys, and it looks like we're coming down to 18 laps to go, now coming to 17 once Track Bar crosses the stripe. So Track Bar just trying to tick down these laps. Kevin, I believe there's one more pit stop that's going to happen here tonight. And,
yes, so
this is the money stop coming up here.
indeed, based on what I was hearing, again, I talked about earlier how fuel saving could maybe come into play. I don't think it will now. I think from what I heard, pit stops probably came with about 28 to go, 29 to go. You're looking probably pit stops starting again with about, I'd say to anywhere from maybe, I would say 15 to go to probably about maybe 10, somewhere in that area. It depends kind of where these guys can stretch it, and it'll say one more pit stop. I would expect most of them to happen probably within the 15 to 13 to go range, kind of within that 2-3 lap span. Maybe some other guys try to stretch it out a little bit. Maybe someone tries to short pit, do maybe a 16 to go pit stop just to try something. But either way, one more round of fuel saving won't become an issue. And again, now we have to beg the question though. We saw what happened in stage 1. I had to ask, does anybody speed right here? Does a bad pit stop, again, which is out of anybody's control, change this race up? What happens? Does anybody try? Well, no, nobody's going to try tire strategy. So it'll be interesting to see if, kind of anybody can pull one last rabbit out of the hat here when we pit and try to gain some time.
Yeah, a lot of guys are going to start pitting now. I see Madara and it's going down. T-Glass is also going to probably come down this time. He's a lap down.
Oh, 18 in trouble?
We're getting word that the 18 might have spun on the apron there. That's unfortunate. You hate to see it. The 16 of Material Zero just now coming off of pit road. 14 laps to go. Your pit window is definitely open. We're going to see, though, because Track Bar has been able to stretch it a fair amount. He might be able to, A, take 2, or B, take a lot less fuel than the rest of these guys will. In term, he will be cutting his stop even shorter and making it very much a quicker stop.
Then.
But at the same time, Kevin, with Asylums coming in, like you just said, he could also play the strategy game and find a way to undercut Track Bar just enough to get that lead. But it's going to be hard, and it's not going to be an easy task at all. With Track Bar still staying out, he's going to stretch it 3 to 4. Or no, he's going to come in this time. Correction. Lap right after Asylums. Coming down to 12 laps remaining in this contest. Track Bar has been looking phenomenal tonight, Kevin. You might get your pick right. We'll see if Track Bar can hang on here. It looked like the pit stop was good. We'll have to see if his crew hits it. Let me find Asylums here. We'll watch the race off pit road. Fabico Gamer making it to his stall in the second place position.
We'll see here. I can say this, man. I tell you what, this race has really been an interesting one because I think we've only had one caution other than the stages, which was the one we had at the very start of the race with Haha Boog having a bit of a lag issue and not really anything that was anybody's fault. That was our only caution, and it wasn't even... Whoa! Hold on a minute. Wow. The 24...
Problems for the 24.
Just wrecked.
Here comes the 6. The 6 is going to take the lead. Problems for the 24 out of the exit of pit road. He loses control there. Luckily, no damage. But now he's got to fight a lap car, I believe, in front of him, which is Graham. And the 6 is right there in the lead. Can we see his Track Bar is going to say, get out of the way, lap car. He's going to move him up the track. And now he's got his sights set on our leader. Let's see what happens here. As now Asylums is our leader. Track Bar's got to chase him down with laps, I believe, are under 10 to go in the race now.
Exactly 10 to go.
Coming to 10. They're bumper to bumper here for the lead. Will the 6 try and block for 9 laps?
Oh, I definitely
Track
think
Bar's
so.
going to get to his inside. Track Bar is going to make a move for the lead. Does he have it? He does it right now, but he's not clear.
Side draft is Asylum's best friend right now. He clears. Now will Asylum's be able to get back down here, get on his bumper, maybe move him up the track, or try to set up for a crossover coming off the corner? What can he do to get back around the 24?
Man, it's going to be tough. Asylums has got to dig deep here and try to find a way to run some quick laps. He is right there on the tail of the 24, but he's slowly losing ground, and that's not what you want to see if you're Asylums. You got to get that drafted. You got to chase this 24 down. As you see, Asylums is riding right in the path of the 24. It looks like he's just going to lose that time in the middle of the corners. That's not what you want to see if you're Asylums, but will the lap traffic play a factor? He's got some lap cars to look at there, Kevin. Will they play a factor? That's the really big
It's definitely
question.
that was about kind of trying to bring up there was there's quite a few lap trucks in front of you. You just saw these guys go around one of them. There's a few more up here. Actually, I believe I see maybe a small pack. I'm not quite sure, but I know there's a couple up here. I don't know that they'll play a huge factor. We'll have to see or not. Most of them, for the most part today, we saw, of course, one kind of get in front of Asylums a little bit, trying to get into the pits, but that was really the only moment I can think. 18 in more trouble, headed down or into the pits. Shouldn't involve anyone else there, unfortunate, but at 7 to go here, Gavin, I don't see lap traffic being a huge issue unless they decide they don't want to be nice to Track Bar. But I think Track Bar's had a rough enough race. I think you might just want to let him go by. I don't know. We'll see. But I will say, if there is a place where lap traffic can play a huge factor, it will be here, because if they don't get up off that bottom, you're going to really have to work to get around it.
Well, Kevin, you mentioned Track Bar's had a rough race. A rough race for Track Bar is a good one for me, especially if he comes out with a win here. He definitely is looking like the favorite right now, and I mean, can this win help Track Bar make it in? I mean, it's going to be close. I know we've basically ruled Track Bar out, but there's always the possibility that anything can happen at the very end of this race. 5 laps remaining, as now you can count the remainder of the laps on your hands. I don't know what happened to Track Bar. He's going to lose the lead. Does he have to save? He just lost the lead to Asylums there. I can't tell you what just happened. But now Asylums is in the lead on the bottom, Track Bar on the high side. It's going to be a race to the finish. Can Asylums capitalize on the mistake that Track Bar made there? Lost some ground. Track Bar is going to plow into the wall.
Oh, what about a contact coming off the corner? Just a slight.
That's going to slow him down. 4 laps to go, and now Asylums just got to hang on as Track Bar kind of threw his race away there. He hit the wall hard. Can he rebound? That's the question now as Track Bar looks to chase down the 6 of Asylums. Can he do it, Kevin? He's only got, coming to the line, 3 laps to go.
We'll have to see how much that damage affects him. Again, this is a place where you don't want to have aerodynamic issues. You don't want to have, the truck pushing in the middle of the corner, especially in 3 and 4, which is one of the most crucial corners. He only has 3 laps to close this down and get back by. We'll see if he's able to do it. Again, lap trucks could still be a factor. I'm trying to look and see if there's a couple more up here. I think they will get to at least one of them. We'll have to see if it's a factor, Gavin. Coming about 2 to go at the line.
Yes, 2 laps remaining once they hit the stripe. Track Bar has closed the gap after scraping the wall hard. Asylums is running smooth and steady laps, but Track Bar is running quick laps. Gamer is blazing up in front of him, gets put in the wall. He's going to stay up there and stay out of the way. There's another slow car in front of the leaders. Will it play a factor? It might, as Track Bar is going to reach him right in the corner. Asylums might be short on fuel. Oh my goodness, we got a lot of factors coming in, and you know, Kevin, how I mentioned fuel can play a factor in Charlotte. You've seen it in real life, and we might see it here tonight.
It will be borderline potentially for the 6th, Gavin, is what we're hearing. We saw Boog again have trouble with this at the end of stage 2, coming out of the last corner. So we've seen it play a factor into this race. Will Asylums have enough to make it back around here? He's a little bit worried about it. It would probably be very borderline, and Track Bar is not far enough away to where Asylums could coast. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, they're going to be about side by side coming down into turn 3. Asylums has the advantage on the bottom. Track Bar's going to give him another big bump. Can he get him out of the way? It's going to be close. He's not going to be able to do it. Asylums is going to remain up front as long as he doesn't run out of fuel. Asylums is going to win at Charlotte.
Picking up his third victory on the season. Huge momentum headed into the playoffs. He very much was in. That's going to give him some extra bonus points headed in here as well. This is also the first truck race that Track Bar has lost this season that he has raced. And we'll get to talk to these
Kevin,
guys.
you can only think about how Track Bar kind of just threw it away there at the end. I mean, I don't know what to say. He kind of just lost the lead in turn 3 and then scrapes the wall hard in turn 4. You think if that doesn't happen as Toasted's goofing around after the race. You can only think what else, I mean, were we going to see there? I don't know. Fabico, I believe, though, still finishes in the top 3, so pretty cool.
Either way, so
we're going to get our drivers in here for an interview in just a few moments.
Post-race show. Work on this now.
As we get these guys in, going to run a quick ad break. See if we can get these guys in as it is. We're still waiting on everybody to finish. No.
Oh yeah, we gotta get a point update too. Yeah, Toasted, try to get those done too. Fubiko did get third, correct?
I gotta find him.
I don't think he's on the line because I have him favored. Oh yeah, he is. He's right here.
We got about
Got him.
We got about a minute. We got about a minute. I'll tell you when.
I got him.
Kevin, we can do this however you want.
I'll let you. I don't know. How did we do this last week? We got. I think you got.
I'm
Vinny.
cool with either way how we do it.
What did we do? Well, I know we had a best at Talladega, but what did you? I can't remember. We did start writing this down. I guess
it's not that important to me.
I guess I'll take third
We
and
can do it
first
however.
if you want, and then you can get
That's fine. Yeah.
Track Bar. He had the most eventful race, I think, out of the 3. Also, we'll throw something in about his dog here as well. I forgot. I'll do that in this as well.
Well, as long as we got everyone in here, we can start it.
We're missing Track Bar. I did invite him.
I did notice that Track Bar left the race as soon as it finished. I don't know if he's going to look for an interview here tonight. We'll have to
see. Hope so.
Whoever finished 4th, maybe we can get them in instead.
I'll invite Track Bar again. We still have the ad up. Okay, hold on. Okay. Who got 4th, guys? Oh, Fabico got 3rd.
It was super, I think.
Okay, wait. Hold on. Alright, now we're trying to get results. Fabico, I think you're going to get interviewed either way because Track Bar is not here. We already did.
I already did.
I mean, we can throw another one up. We gotta get this sorted out. So, sorry guys. By the way, we're trying to get
right now. Sorry.
yeah, trying to get some things sorted out. Trying to get points done. so we can give you guys the official playoff lineup as well as Track Bar. Unfortunately, doesn't appear to want an interview tonight, so we are trying to sort out who exactly the next person would be. So hang tight. We're working on it.
Also, cool little tidbit on the side. Someone from the stream wants an invite to RHRL, so pretty cool to see
Ooh.
there that the stream's pulling in possible new drivers.
Like that.
John Fry says our good buddy Fry Dog wants an interview. Oh, I know.
All right. Oh yeah, we got to explain the bingo thing. All right. All right, we're gonna have. All right, Fabiko, did you get third or fourth?
I got third.
Okay. All right. We'll roll with this. If we want to get, I'll let Gavin. I don't know if you want to pull either one of them in, either Gamer or Graham. All right, we'll go. Good Lord, what was that? My phone fell on the floor. That's what that noise was. Alright.
Alrighty.
Nah, we're not gonna. We don't. I
Oh,
don't
my
need.
goodness.
We don't need 5. We don't need 5. All right, Gavin, is the ad still up, or are we good?
No, we're good. We're good to go whenever you're ready.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and roll this. All right, I guess so. We'll figure out the other two later. Go. You get Fabiko. Okay, we'll get that. Yes. Okay, awesome. We'll get that updated then in here as well. That's awesome. Alright, Gavin, you can go ahead and roll with Fabiko. I'll get Casey. Oh, shoot. Alright, I'll get him while you're done.
Alrighty, Fabico, you come home third, I believe, tonight. You got a copy, buddy?
Certamente, meu caro amigo. See, I spoke Portuguese. I know Portuguese. Someone begged me to speak Portuguese in the interview. I just did that. Yep. Yeah, I got third.
Well, Fabico, it's been really cool to see your season develop. You've grown so much as a driver, and you come home with, I believe, what is, if I'm not mistaken, your career best. I might be wrong. I might be wrong on that. Correct me. Correct me if I'm wrong, Fabico, but this is one of your best races I've seen you put together so far, and I'm going to be honest, you surprised me, and I'm also super hyped that you come home in the top 3. Really cool to see you grow, and I just want to ask, how does it feel to have your first truck regular season under your belt as we move to the playoffs?
It feels very good. Honestly, this league has been just fantastic, and it was just very, very fun, to be honest. I came here to this league, just like, okay, let's see what we can do, and and I stayed third place in the standings, so it's just very good feeling. Let's see if we can maybe drive for what? Sorry, I have no words. I know. Yeah. Where was I again? I was oh yeah. Maybe you can bring home the truck championship. It would be very hard, but why not? Let's try it.
Well, Fabico, I know that you have what it takes to be a truck champion. I know you got a lot of good finishes under your belt, and I honestly, the only way to go from here is up, and you're putting together such great finishes. You're doing such a good job this season. And how does it feel to have come into this race locked into the playoffs? I mean, It's got to be a good feeling to know that you have nothing to worry about coming into this race, and then on top of that, you put together one of your best finishes in your custom setup career. I mean, that's just got to be awesome.
Yeah, especially on an oval. Now, sadly, Casey and Track Bar got away in the strategy, and I got off guard there. But in the first two stages, I was struggling big time because I couldn't get the balance of the truck properly. In stage three, I got the balance right and just flying.
Yeah, man, it was really awesome to see you out there, and I'm gonna steal Kevin's famous question. Fabico, do you got any shout outs tonight that you would like to give for your top 3 finish tonight? Also, again, congratulations.
Well, I don't know, no clue. Possibly uh, the admins of this league because they're just amazing.
Well, Fabico, before I turn it over to Kevin, I just want to say congratulations on yet again another amazing finish here tonight. It's been really awesome to see you grow, and I know I speak for all of us when I say that. So congratulations again on a top 3.
Yeah, thank you. We're going for the truck championship.
Yes,
Indeed.
sir.
We got
Kevin?
one of your playoff guys there. Also, before we get to our race one and a couple extra things here, I do want to give an update on where Track Bar is, and I hope if you guys have been paying attention, obviously to Twitter or anything this week, Track Bar's dog kind of got away, ran away, whatever, and he's been searching, I mean, tirelessly for the entire week, and he actually went immediately after this race ended, thankfully, and I hope that it is his dog Lugnut. As someone who has 3 dogs at the moment, I understand that dogs are awesome. So when they're not around, it's hard to deal with. But I'm hoping they said they found a dog that matches his description. So we're hoping for Track Bar that is indeed Lugnut, and he can bring him back home safely. So
I'm crossing
just want
all
to
the
get that update.
fingers. I'm crossing all the fingers in the world that is
So
his dog.
So we're hoping
hope
that
you can
that's
find it.
what it is, and
Good
I
dog.
hope he can bring him back home safe. But that's why Track Bar's not here now. Asylums. A little bit, took a little while to get to you, man. But you come up with the victory. You got a copy. Oh,
I do. I'm here.
oh, there he goes.
We're live.
Okay. I know you've had. Well, we'll start with this. You've had an interesting day. Your Xbox hasn't been too kind to you today. It seems to have spared you well throughout the race, but you come in here, you you're locked into the playoffs. I think your goal was to kind of get the points lead back. We knew Trippy wasn't here, so that was I think your goal was to get the points lead back, headed into the playoffs. I would say you probably achieved that. You pick up the stage 1 victory. Track Bar makes a mistake there. You two raced it out for stage 2, and then obviously stage 3 comes around, and it's back and forth between you two the entire stage. You'll lead for a little while through pitting or even genuinely under green, getting it, and then Track Bar will get it back, and then you two ended up battling very late in this race. I'd say probably 8-9 to go, and even maybe a little bit after that. You two get side by side a little bit, single out. You get side by side, and Track Bar gets up in the wall, and at that point, you kind of set sail and brought home the checkered flag. Walk us through your race. I know fuel was also a bit of a concern for you at the end as well.
Yeah, it wasn't really. I mean, the fuel wasn't really an issue. It's more the tires. Felt like a little bit of an Atlanta there, but yeah, like you said, we actually had a full clean race for us. It's been a while that we've actually, had a good run in the truck. So had some struggles the last couple weeks. It was definitely a crazy race overall.
Indeed, and of course, this being your 3rd Truck Series win of the season, you've been on a roll lately. You got 2 Cup wins back to back. Of course, now your 3rd truck win. You've been, on a huge roll as of late. How do you carry this? I guess first of all, throughout the into the Cup race on Sunday. Of course, that one being 300 miles, and then obviously, into the playoffs. You're into the truck playoffs. You'll be into the Cup playoffs. I believe you're already locked there. So, how do you carry this momentum forward, and how does it carry you into the playoffs?
Yeah, we just got to keep doing what we're doing. We've caught momentum at good parts of the season for trucks and cup, so we just got to keep on riding the momentum we have, and hope that luck's on our side.
Yeah, man, and sorry, and of course my usual question: any shout-outs,
Knock it off,
thank
Tim.
yous you'd like to give for your first place finish tonight?
Well, first I got to shout out the track bar. I don't think I was going to catch him, but his phone was actually getting blown up at the last part of that race about the dog situation and all. So I think it kind of distracted him in some aspects that helped me get back in the race a little bit. But shout out to him. He always races me clean. He didn't send me. I was scared I was running to catch fence to the wall or something, but we survived that one. Shout out to you guys. Looks like we're missing the guy tonight. Where's the whole abyss at?
I don't know. He said he had something come up tonight, so.
Oh man, we don't get. He's in the abyss. Wow. Oh. Yeah. But shout out to you guys for what you guys do each weekend. You take time out of your days, nights, weeks, years, months, whatever, to do this stuff.
Hey, I love it up here.
No,
I
know you do. Shout out to Roush. We had a fast, patriotic truck tonight. Our truck luck hasn't been too greatest lately, but we finally put a whole race together here, so I'm happy with that. Shout out to old Circle B Diecast there. Make sure you guys go get your diecast from there. Your Gravedigger diecast from the 4-car. I know a lot of people were a big fan of that one. Go order that stuff there. Go get that thing. Shout out to the admins that helped me run the truck series, and all the admins in general that help run this whole operation we have going on here. That's really all I got.
Indeed. Well, thank you, Case, for your time, and again, congrats on your win. Good luck Sunday night in the Cup race, and of course, good luck as you make a run at a championship now.
Actually, I do have one more shout out. Shout out to the person that has to clean up Victory Lane, because now another condiment has been added. It counts over here.
It's a relish this time?
It's relish, yes sir.
Okay.
Ketchup, mustard, and relish.
Alright, well now we gotta figure out what the next one will be, so.
I'm gonna make toast to clean that up. But yeah,
that's fair. Either way, congratulations, man, on again winning your 3rd truck race of the season, and of course, like I said, good luck Sunday and good luck into the playoffs.
Alright, thank you, buddy.
Yes, sir. Now, we've gone on for a while, so we're gonna make these next couple quick. But we got a couple special interviews as well. But first, I want to get. I'll have either Toasted or Word do this if they'd like, unless Gavin has it. I don't know. I believe we have what should end up being the final point standings here, assuming no penalties or anything come out later on. I don't believe so, but this should be your final points. So if somebody wants to read those off before we get to these final couple, and we can get our official playoff grid.
Well, I was going to save the suspense. We could tell the drivers how much they were above the points cutoff. All right, I got this. Graham Cracker, you're going to get in by, I believe, it is 10 points, so you made it by a solid 10. And Gamer, you squeeze in right by the skin of your teeth over Super NASCAR Fan by 1 point. So whatever you picked up a stage point today is going to be what pushed you a point above the cut line. So these two guys that were about to...
If I could butt in quick, I also want to make this point. Had Gamer's controller, which it went out on the final lap, and had he lost one more position, Super NASCAR Fan would have gotten the cutoff because he won a race earlier this season. Just want to point that out. So that's how close that came down to. If Gamer lost one more point, he was completely out of the playoffs.
Close.
Yeah, so the controller could have been the make or break. But Kevin, we're going to get down and talk to these guys, and I'm going to start off with Graham, and you can take Gamer. So Graham, do you got a copy, buddy?
I got a copy.
You came into the season late. You were a couple races behind, but that didn't matter. You come in, you get 10 points to the good. You pushed above the cutoff here tonight, and you make it into the first Truck Series playoff in Red Hot Racing League. You take that 68 Rackley Roofing Toyota Tundra to its first playoffs. How does it feel to know that you are going to be racing for a championship?
Well, missing nearly half of the season in between, coming in late, and then I went on like a little vacation, missed a race, and Talladega was rough. It feels great because I've been on the struggle bus lately in both trucks and Xfinity, just not getting the finishes I wanted. Like today, top five all day. Then I sped on pit road and it cost me like a top five and I came 10th. It's been a struggle lately, so it's good to gotta have to look on the bright side going into the playoffs because you don't want to go down there with no confidence or no anything, and knowing that that you're not going to do much. But it's good to say that I'm in the playoffs, and these tracks coming up. If I look at here, Phoenix, Michigan, Watkins Glen, Kansas, Homestead. That's a great 5 tracks for me at least. I love those tracks, so it's gonna be entertaining. And I'm just really happy that I'm in here after all the time I've missed. And it feels good to come back into racing, come back as we've talked about earlier on in the season, not being here. But like now being here back and being able to run for the playoffs and, kind of maybe being the little underdog story that I kind of like. I kind of like being the underdog, not many people looking at me and just quietly going to hopefully make my way up to the championship.
Well, Graham, best of luck to you. I'm going to turn it over to Kevin, who might have a question or two for you. But congratulations on making it to the first ever truck playoff in Red Hot Racing League.
My only question, and it's a quick one here before we head over for our of course last seat here. But of course, Graham, obviously, you've had your success in Xfinity this season. You got your win at Atlanta. Trucks, you've had some good runs, like you said. It's been a little bit of a struggle as of recent, but obviously, you talked about there's some good tracks in the playoffs for you. How do you feel about your chances to make it all the way into that Final Four when we get down to the final race there?
I don't really know if I want to say anything because I don't want to jinx myself. So, I will say it's really likely. I want to say it's really likely for me. Because if I look at the playoff standings now, I'm really happy for Gamer. I'm so happy Gamer's made the playoffs because that doesn't get Super in there, and we all know how good Super is. So, good job, Gamers. Let's go. And I hope the best of luck to him, and I hope the best of luck to the rest of the playoff guys. But I look at these guys, Fabico's fast, Trippy, of course, Asylums. It's a really, really stacked Truck Series playoffs. And honestly, for me, my goal is just to run clean every race, not have speeding penalties like tonight. I hope I get all of these mistakes that I've had lately out of these earlier races in the regular season, and I start getting it back on point now, like during the playoffs. So, I don't know. I hope it's good. I'm just gonna pray and hope everything goes right.
Indeed, man. Well, we definitely wish you the best of luck in these last. We have 5, and then we have the cutoff there. But best of luck through the playoffs, and maybe we'll see you battling for a championship here in about a month and a half.
All right, thank you, man.
Yes, sir. Now we're gonna transition over to the man that we said it. He got in by the skin of his teeth. Gamer, do you got a copy, man?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Man, I tell you what, you've had a very interesting season because there's been so many races where you were running really well, and then something that seemed always just kind of didn't fall your way. I know Canada, for example, when we were there, you were running inside the top 5, and I think fuel ended up becoming an issue or something there towards the end of that race. I kind
Yeah.
of took that out of your hands. It's things like that, but you've still managed to get your way into the playoffs. Even tonight, you were, I mean, literally one spot away from missing this, but you managed to eke your way in by just 1 point. I mean, sum up your regular season and kind of how this feels. Of course, you're one of the newer guys to custom setups as well. So, I mean, how does that feel?
Yeah, I don't know how I got into the playoffs because there were a few tracks where I would have something, but then something would go wrong or just stuff like that. I didn't want to give up though, because I kept thinking if I didn't give up, I would probably have a chance. Even if I don't have the custom setup experience, I would have to at least put up a fight to try and get in. And somehow, through my rough first season here, it went pretty well.
I would say so, and again, I think, like I said, we're gonna try to keep this kind of short. That'll be my only question. But man, first of all, for me, good luck throughout the playoffs. I think you're hoping to get your luck turned around, but I'm gonna send it to a guy that I think has been probably very helpful to you as of late. I know he's paid a lot of attention to you, as we all have. But Gavin, do you have any questions for Gamer?
Yeah, man. First, I just want to say congratulations to Gamer. You make it by the skin of your teeth, 1 point above the cut.
Yeah.
However you do it, you got to do it. So, pretty cool to see, and it's been really cool to watch you grow in the custom setup racing. I know you're an amazing preset racer, and it's cool to see you over here now, putting it down, and you make it to your first playoffs. I can't say how proud I am of you. It's been really cool to watch you grow, and I hope the best for you for the rest of this playoff push that you're going to make, and hopefully you can start pushing that momentum forward. But how do you think your playoffs is going to look? I see some tracks in there that you're definitely good at. There's a road course in there which you specialize in. Is there anything that you think might be your make or break point in the playoffs here as you look to line up a push here late?
Well, I think I'll have a really good shot. I can't say that I'll probably make it, but I'm definitely gonna try hard. But yeah, I just can't overthink my setups a little bit because I've done this a few races what I would think is just, good, not perfect, but good. And then I would change something, for example, my rear end ratio. I always have this scary thought that if it's too high on certain tracks, then I'll overheat, which happened to me at Chicago. So I felt like I would have had a truck there, but had trouble with that. But as long as I don't overthink my setups, I think I'll have better performances.
Yeah, man, absolutely, and I hope that you can turn the season around. I know it's been kind of a roller coaster for you, and it looks like it's going to start turning up here soon, and hopefully it does. The sky's the limit, man, and can only hope the best for you, and good luck in the playoffs, Gamer.
Yeah, thank you so much. Can I have a shout out to you guys for making this
Yeah, man.
possible? And all of you that have been helping me and brought me into this league. It's been really fun, and I'm glad to be in it.
Well, I can say for all of us, we're glad to have you. You've been such a cool guy to watch, and it's been really fun watching you grow in custom setups, especially putting your knowledge of road course racing too. We know that you excel there, and it's been really fun watching you grow here this season, and I can't wait to see what you got in store next season as well, and down this playoff push. Well,
Indeed.
Kevin, those are the two cutoff drivers. Congratulations to both of them. Kevin, any quick thoughts before we close it up
Yeah,
tonight?
we've had a very long post race show, but I think it was fitting. Long race, long post race. Hey, you know what? We do this. We enjoy it. But of course, I mean, overall, very. I'll sum it up quick. I mean, very quick, or sorry, very not very quick, very clean race. Only had again the one caution there. It was very early in a. I'm very surprised it was even a caution. It was kind of a lag thing, not really something anybody could control. But other than that, we didn't have a single caution, and that might be the first time, if not second time, that's happened this season. We've had that few cautions. So, I mean, that's awesome to me. I'm glad to see that. And there was some dull points in this race. I'll be honest, but you know what? We also had a lot of things happen that we didn't expect. You had Track Bar having his issues. Kind of I would like you said the Goliath of this race. The guy, we came in here looking, could he perform this impossible feat? And the answer was no. He made a mistake early early in stage one, and it kind of cost him from there. And then even late in the race, he made a couple more mistakes. Obviously, he's had some other stuff going on. We mentioned that earlier. It kind of, I think he was trying to deal with that at the end of the race, but kind of slipped up a little bit there as well. And the Salms ended up getting the win. So really good race overall. It came down, a very good finish, especially for how spread out everyone was. And I was very excited, and I can't wait to see what we have in store from these guys during the playoffs. I am very excited. There's 8 very competitive guys that are going to be going for this championship, and there's a lot more guys that are probably going to go in here with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, trying to prove why they should have been in that final 8 and not some of these other guys. So I expect this to be very competitive. I think the tracks that we have are going to be fun as well. I can't wait. It's going to be a really fun playoffs, but we have the rest of the weekend too, so I can't wait to see how these go. We have a very similar points battle in Xfinity. We'll talk more about that tomorrow night. But of course, my final thing again, I got to thank Circle B Diecasts and everything they do for us. And again, go support them. Get your diecast from those guys. They have a ton of stuff. I just saw some more stuff come in today as far as IndyCar, and of course they've had the Gravedigger diecast there and some other stuff. They have stuff coming in all the time. When you do that, add to that collection, and they got some other stuff too. But any purchase $20 or more in the U.S., use code RHRL at checkout, and you get free shipping. It goes to your house for free. And guess what? We get the patriotic scheme. Speaking of being in the U.S., we get the patriotic schemes for the rest of the weekend too. It was also nice to see that tonight, like I said earlier, and I can't wait to see what these other guys come up with for tomorrow and Sunday. So that's it for me. One more thing. I gotta thank all the guys that tuned in tonight as well. Everybody that watched it again, it means so much. And also hearing might be getting a new member to the league. Hopefully we see you here next week and get in and get situated. I love seeing that, and hopefully we can continue that as well. That's awesome. So let's keep that up, and again, thank you all for watching. It means a lot.
Yeah, the never-ending support has been great. I mean, I can only say, words cannot really describe how much I appreciate the support. And before we close it up, I want to say, Kevin, I got my pick right. So,
Oh, you're gonna do me
just
like
wanted to
that.
add that. You reminded me when Casey won, I got my pick right. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, this race has been a roller coaster for sure, and it's been definitely a roller coaster season for a lot of our drivers. It's been really cool to see them grow and progress, and I can't wait for this reset after this week, points reset, and we go back racing clean slates for everybody in the playoffs and see who can make it and who will break it. So it's going to be pretty cool to see, but I appreciate all the support for RHRL and the community that we have here. It's just awesome to see. But it's been a long night, and I just got to thank everybody for being around. And just going to say, for K Harvick fan 429, I've been Glixen, and we are glad to have you guys here. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for the Xfinity Series race right here at Charlotte at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific. What am I saying?
Pacific?
Pacific.
Hopefully I make it back
We will see
in
you
time.
guys there. Yeah, hopefully. Kevin's going to Pocono, I believe, tomorrow, so that's going to be fun. But we hope to see you guys here tomorrow, and until then, peace out, and thank you for watching.